item by item our legislative proposals, and then from here on, we'll be doing updates and whatnot, but it's important that everybody understand what the details are that are in the proposals. Before we get started with that, Julie would like to make an announcement.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, I appreciate your indulging me, but I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you to our new Deputy County Manager, who will start next Monday, but did offer to stop in today so that I could introduce her to all of you formally. I believe that most of you know Heather Worthington.
Heather, come on up to the microphone for your speech.
Put Heather on the spot here. As you know from my announcement, and most of you do know Heather, Heather started as a community organizer here in St. Paul and was the executive director of, and I'm going to get the name wrong, I'm sure, the St. Anthony Park
Community Council.
Community Council, and then went on to become the city manager of Falcon Heights. And we stole her back from Edina, where she has most recently been the interim city manager in Edina. She has her master's degree in public administration from Hamline University, and I could not be more pleased to have her. I know that she will be a great addition to our team, and as I said to her recently, it's time to come home.
Glad to be back. Thank you very much.
In fact, you still live in St. Paul?
I do live in St. Paul.
All this time?
This great city of ours. Yes, I do.
St. Anthony Park?
No, I live in the Midway.
Great.
Or the Hamline Midway, as it's technically known.
My park. My park.
Oh, your park? Yes. Oh, excuse me. I live in Commissioner Rettman's district. Yes.
That's okay. You can come to mine every now and then.
I do, very frequently, actually. I get around quite a bit.
Well, welcome back, Heather.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. You're going to be a wonderful addition to our team, and we really won't ask you to make a speech
Thank
today.
you.
So.
I am thrilled to be back, though. It's wonderful to see you all. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, so just a brief introduction that I'm going to make about the legislative proposals. Every year we do this. We put together our package that we then use as our guidelines, I guess, for the legislative session. And there's probably nothing more important that we do as commissioners than figure out how we're going to influence what is happening up at the state capitol during the legislative session. So much of our revenue is directed by them, if not comes directly from them. And so, we really, it warrants us taking some time to walk through exactly what it is that we're going to be proposing this year. And then, of course, goes without saying that a lot of the work of Nick and Claudia has to do with stopping things from happening to us as well. So these are the things that we initiate, and then we also get involved in things as they come up, too. In general, there are three main issues that we're going to be including in our package this year. One is the revenue diversification, or looking at the whole system of how county government is financed. Secondly, the strengthening both the physical and human infrastructures. Thinking of it that way, that we've got the capital bonding, the physical stuff, and then there's also the human infrastructure that is every bit as much important. And along with that is providing adequate funding for the core human services. We have sustained cuts and cuts and cuts, and we need to keep the focus on what those core services are that we have actually been delegated by the state legislature to provide for them. And as you all know, in most states in the country, the state government provides these services, and in Minnesota's case, they have delegated this to us. So we're going to be, again, providing information to the legislature to help them to understand that and to help them understand the dilemma we're in with financing of those services. So with that, we're going to start at the beginning, and we'll go as far as we have time today, and if we don't get done, we can continue it. So what I thought we should do is just start walking through our package and kind of take chunk by chunk. So the first thing, do you want to go into any more detail about the three statements at the beginning?
Madam Chair, if I could, I'll start with the very cover of this,
Okay.
which is a new step from previous covers. And actually, it will, I know you think this was done in black and white for you, Commissioner, but actually it's going to be in color. And we are having it on recycled stock as well. So that's the front page. Then as you turn it to the first page, this is last year's list of the way things broke out for commissioners. If there are some changes based on, chairmanship and that sort of thing, we can change that, but this is from last year, just so you know that. And then the next page, the statement that we have in here, there's a typo on the very first sentence where it says looks back. It should be just looks back. Take the S off. And then we put a statement in here about, that initiatives support items may not be in here, but generally we support the Association of Minnesota Counties, CTIB, and the Waste Management Coordinating Board initiatives, and there may be others, obviously, but we're ahead of these entities at this point, so we didn't include some of the support items that may be coming forward from these different groups, and we'll bring those forward to you as they come to us.
Okay, Commissioner Carter?
Just a nitpicker, I don't know if you mentioned the S for organization in the second line? Okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Where are you looking?
They took the S and they moved it up to back, so it's a wash as far as the S's.
Yes, it's a net, 0 S's.
Just get your S.
In the second line, supports the legislative recommendations of organizations.
Oh, the second paragraph. I was
Yes.
looking at the first.
I knew that S belonged somewhere.
Yeah, it did.
Then the other comment I'd just like to make on this first page is we have Commissioner's signature here. We aren't sure if you wanted to go there with that, if you wanted the chair of the legislative committee to put her signature, if you wanted the chair of the board, if you wanted all of your signatures, or if you don't want any. Just something,
It's an option.
it's an option, and so we put it there. You may not want anything there, just that general statement. It's up to all of you.
Some organizations do that. When they put their package out, they'll have a cover letter or a cover statement, and they'll have their signature, and so we just thought we'd bring it up as a possible option. It's certainly not something that needs to be done.
Commissioner Redmond?
In my world, first of all, this page looks good. You list everybody here. This, is redundant. The signature is redundant. It's what are you really trying? It's not the
Just the
signature.
statement there.
It's the focus,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, the table of contents, as Commissioner Parker mentioned, there are three main broad areas that we touch on. And the first one is restructuring Minnesota's budget for long-term stability. And we worked with the Property Tax Study Group, which Commissioner Rettman and Ortega are members of, to come up with this statement. And we fashioned it for Ramsey County, of course, but it is a result of our discussions with that group. And one of the main reasons that we did it this way, we thought we should have guiding principles rather than coming out with, this is how you should do things up there, and here are the revenue streams that you should look at, or here are the cuts you should look at. These are guiding principles, and we felt we touched on the areas of most importance for us and for these other local governments. For instance, under fairness, as the state makes cuts, we don't want them to do shifts. We want them to be very fair about the cuts, and we want them to take into account previous cuts that have already occurred to us through unallotment. Also, levy limits is another area we hope that they don't go as a means of trying to suppress our needs as a county. We do have our own levy limits, obviously, internal levy limits that the county board has every year, and we've maintained a very good levy. So,
Commissioner Rettman?
So we're already into page 1. Is that what you're, okay.
yes, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'll slow
you
down
sort
a
of
bit,
went
but-
from table of contents,
Yeah, and I started down the table of contents to
yeah, well, you didn't get
page
very
1, and we'll
far.
jump back into it again as we go through
Okay.
each item.
All right, because there's one
I just wanted you to be aware of
one
what we came up with.
correction on the table of contents needs to be made, so.
Where are you?
Madam Chair, under state funding, Parks and Recreation operations funding, maintain historic level of 4 million, and it's actually 4.5 in the documentation in the packet, so pick a number and stick with it. Otherwise, that is true and accurate, because $500,000 is a lot of dollars. And so, excuse me, about $500,000, you're right, you're so quick.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And keep in mind, this is a draft, and so this is exactly why this is exactly why we're walking through this, is for us to all, have all of our eyes on it, and we're looking at the content as well as the presentation. Commissioner Rettman?
Madam Chair, then if we go to number 1, and Raphael's been trying to read my notes because I wrote a lot of them.
Okay, you're going to page 1 now?
Yes, if that's,
You did that awfully fast.
well, that's where Nick was already. I just wanted to make sure the 4.5 was the same number, because I just think those little things are critical. In second paragraph on page 1, it talks about small business and low and middle income property owners. I'd just like to add, and virtually all property owners cannot continue to absorb the shifts by the state and the county, because I think just to say it is small businesses and low and moderate income, or low and middle income, I think it's virtually everyone, and I just would like to at least raise that because I was hearing something about Old Dutch, for example, which is out in your area, that does the potato chips, I would consider them a big company, and yet you look at all of the people that they hire, is their cost analysis. So I just want to make sure that we're not just saying it's only for a certain group as well as the others.
So we want Commissioner Rettman to get credit for protecting the high income.
You betcha. Because, here's the thing.
Is it betcha or no?
The thing of it is systemic in this whole document. You're talking about getting rid of some of the levels of demarcation. You're talking about some of those things, and yet here you're calling certain folks out. And it's like, we need to be consistent some of the times on if you're going to say one thing and then, at the same time you're saying, let's take away this, this, and this, yet you want to add it back in here, here, and here. So I just raise it.
Okay, I've got Commissioner Carter and then Reinhardt.
Okay, I'm not sure of what the wording should be on that, but I do see the emphasis on the varying ability of taxpayers to absorb the shifts. I do also realize the importance of noting that those shifts have an impact on all our taxpayers. So I think there's a way that we can maintain the sense of there being varying ability, because there truly is, but that it has this impact on all our taxpayers. And maybe you've got some words for that.
I would
Commissioner Renner.
suggest you could put a comma after low and middle income property owners, comma,